So, hi everybody, I'm Oliver von Wersch. I'm a consultant for IB Tech Lab in Europe, and we have a lot of discussions and interactions with Alliance Digitale, Arthur, Nicolas, and their team about global ad technology standards. So I will elaborate a bit what IB Tech Lab is doing throughout my presentation, but my main focus naturally is the advanced TV roadmap of IB Tech Lab, and how can we work together to bridge heterogeneity in the fragmented TV landscape. So unfortunately, I can't be with you today, so there is no way to ask questions, and the only way to ask questions is to send them afterwards. I'm open to that. I'm in Paris a couple of times a year, so I'm happy also to interact furtherly if that's needed with working groups or other groups in your market. I will start presenting now. You will get the slides afterwards, and this video is recorded, so there is a way to get this content and also communicate it internally in your organizations. Where do we come from? So we are talking about TV convergence. We see videos in various channels today. We see it on the TV screen naturally. That's where we all come from. So in the classical broadcast situation, we see it on mobile devices. We see it on connected TV devices. We see it on set-top boxes, on gaming consoles. There is a lot of video consumption ongoing on various terminals, on various devices. And the demand of advertisers, increasingly demand of advertisers of the demand side is how can we standardize all the different videos which are consumed over different platforms, and with broadcasting, not broadcast situation and broadcast TV consumption not growing anymore, but other video channels heavily growing. There is the question, how can we bridge the heterogeneity of all those environments to reach, for example, a unified measurement over the different channels? That's what I will be talking about a bit furtherly. We come from this situation, so in the good old days, so to speak, so everybody was in front of the TV screen. There was no interaction apart from talking to each other. And you were watching just one video and one broadcast, and also the number of channels was quite limited, as we all know. Where we are today is a completely different situation. So we have video consumption, and you have the classical broadcast. You have other devices used for interacting, for accessing additional content which is related to the broadcast, and also watching videos while you are watching videos. So multiple consumption of video content, and also interaction with TV content, TV shows, and so on, through other devices. So there are different situations involving different devices, involving different technologies, and that creates a certain heterogeneity of the TV landscape. And if an advertiser wants to distribute an ad over all those different channels, advertisers do want to be there where the attention of the user is. And if the attention of the consumer is on the mobile device while watching a show, it makes sense to be there. But of course, you want to measure in a unified way the delivery of the ads and the performance of the ads on the different terminals. So we are talking about how the IB Tech Lab, where the Tech Lab comes from, is how to bridge the heterogeneity from linear TV, connected TV, and other video-related use cases. IB Tech Lab is a member-driven organization. We have 1,100 members worldwide, a significant portion of members also in Europe, but naturally all the global ad tech companies are IB Tech Lab members. Our board consists of more than 30 companies such as Google, such as Meta, also the Trade Desk is on the board, and so on and so forth. So really huge ad tech companies. And what we are doing through our members, through working groups, is to work on global standards in digital advertising. You all know probably OpenRTB, that is a standard which is maintained by IB Tech Lab. And we see more and more demand from our membership on the CTV and on the video everywhere landscape, so to speak. So how can we achieve targeting over different terminals in where videos are distributed? How can you improve attribution so that campaign planning and campaign attribution is unified over all different consumer situations and terminals where videos are distributed? You have impression-based approaches, which are not right now not used everywhere, but should be used everywhere in the future. So we are talking about a fragmented landscape where we have to work on how to unify technologies and to identify what is needed to bridge this heterogeneity. Inside Tech Lab, we are talking about advanced TV. We know that there is addressable TV. We know that there is CTV. We know there's OTT. So you can make a long list of short abbreviations in this landscape. Advanced TV. Why we are talking about advanced TV? Because you saw the slide with the different usage situations. We have different terminals acting differently, and all of them in the future will become interactive. So the ordinary TV set, which is on your wall, is an interactive device in the meantime. And we all see also in France, also in the other Central European markets, a strong increase of CTV usage. Of course, there are still a lot of users don't using interactive TV functions, but there is a growth, and this growth creates the demand for unified technologies and unified approaches, how to achieve measurement, how to achieve video distribution over the different terminals. Advanced TV, CTV is growing not only in the US. Here are some US figures. It is expectedly growing furtherly. I just came from an IAB Europe conference in Madrid yesterday, where new figures about the European programmatic landscape have been communicated. And it was clear that CTV is one of the 2 or 3 channels which are significantly growing Europe-wide. Another one is digital audio, for example, still from a smaller level, but there is growth in this segment. And with this growth, there is the demand, of course, for standards and for how to use things which are known from the digital advertising world, such as OpenRTB, such as measurement, such as attribution, such as viewability, how to transport this and transform this to advanced TV and to the different terminals involved in the consumption situation right now. So the Tech Lab, IAB Tech Lab Advanced TV Charter, which I will illustrate right now a bit, is to mobilize our members, mobilize our partners to achieve more homogeneity, to establish a set of technical standards and best practices to support use cases which are needed in the CTV, in the linear broadcast, and in the non-linear video delivery environments. Universal reconciliation is how to make different videos technically identifiable so you can establish one measurement technology. Full auditability. So how do you achieve measurability? Creatives overall environments, how can they be measured in a unified way? Interoperability for sure. Ad validation, so to avoid the threats which we have not solved, but where we are on in the classical digital advertising world, such as ad fraud or malware, how to avoid these threats in the CTV environment. And also technical things like frame accurate replacement of videos. It's nothing worse than if you deliver, if you are trying to deliver a video ad into a connected TV screen, and in the TV usage situation, there is no ad coming and no ad showing. That should be avoided technically. So the idea of IAB Tech Lab and of this advanced TV roadmap is to use video watermarks as one basis to achieve a universal identification of videos. There are 2 standards globally currently used. ATSC is a standard mostly used in the US and in some of the APAC markets. DVB is used in Europe and also other markets globally. Both of them use video watermarking. And what is a video watermark? It's a public specification, a short graphic overlay, so to speak, on the top lines of the video, which is entered during presentation, during production, and delivered with a presentation of the video. So it's included in the TV stream. It's included in any other video, and this makes video identifiable, so to speak, and also the creative identifiable when you are distributing a creative. And this could be a basis for achieving cross-platform identification of creatives on the one hand, and if you can do that, you can establish measurement in a unified way. You can establish other needed market standards in a unified way. That is the idea, to use these watermarks. You see here the distribution. So we already started talking to these organizations in the US and also in Europe. There is a lot of fragmentation, to be honest. There are TV manufacturers, there are OEMs, there are broadcasters, there are ad tech companies, there's Google, Facebook, and so on entering the space. So you have to bridge a lot of heterogeneity. It's an ambitious roadmap what we have in front of us. So where we come from, you have linear TV, a supply chain. You have a connected TV supply chain, and you have no unified market standards in place for measurement, for example. So if an ad plays on CTV, if you have provider ABC, there is measurement ABC, so there is no homogeneity of measurements. So in the end, you are the advertiser has to try to consolidate all of this and trying to consolidate things which are not comparable because they are not based on the same technologies. Doesn't make really sense. So the idea is, in the end, to establish a universal creative ID registry based on video watermarking, which is a unique identifier. We are not talking about personal data here. We are talking about identifiers of videos. And to use this as a basis for validation and to use this as a basis for measurement over the different platforms. So if you can establish that in partnership with the industry, you would be able, that provider ABC, so broadcaster, Google, ad tech platform XYZ, different video on demand platforms, Netflix, and so on, could be measured in the same way. This is very ambitious, and you need to talk to a lot of companies in that. So where we come from is high fragmentation. Where we come from are market standards such as OM SDK, the Open Measurement SDK, which is provided by IB Tech Lab, which is working also already in CTV environments, but not on all platforms. And where we want to go is on the right, you see it on the right, open watermark standard and governance, and to establish measurement technologies based on that. And of course, to, in the end, facilitate and make OpenRTB related technologies and segments available to the advanced TV landscape. Lastly, how do we do that? Through collaboration. So Tech Lab is a member-driven organization. We are in the process of establishing the so-called Advanced TV Commit Group. This is a group of companies. It will be slightly above 20 different companies, OEMs, broadcasters, networks, CTV companies, of course, big ad tech companies, trade organizations in the field. And this group will evolve furtherly on the advanced TV roadmap and lead the development of standards and supporting frameworks. This is a multi-year agenda. This will take a couple of years. The advanced TV Commit Group is established right now, so it will have their first meetings very soon. And for sure, as a roadmap process goes, you have to define near-term and long-term use cases inside this commit group, establish a roadmap for this year, for the rest of this year and the next few years, and then address existing technologies and frameworks and try to integrate them in this concept. So you're free to join. Turn to Arthur and team. IB France, Alliance Digitale is IB Tech Lab member, so can join any working group. This is open to everybody. We are only as IB Tech Lab is only as good as our members are, because we organize the work and we need feedback and input from the industry. We know that this roadmap is ambitious because we see a lot of heterogeneity. We see different terminals, we see different video consumption situations, and we see a lot of interest of different players in this segment. But in the end, I think we think it's worthwhile because the demand side clearly says we want universal measurement, we want universal reconciliation and delivery of ads through different video platforms. So it really makes sense to take this. You see more information under this link. And if you want to reach out, you see my email address here. So happy to discuss this furtherly. Have a great rest of the event and hope to see you sometime again in Paris. Bye.